Good day and welcome to the BMC IMS webinar series. BMC shines a light on the IMS catalog webinar. Today's webinar is being recorded. At this time, I would like to turn the conference over to Nick Griffin. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Cynthia. Welcome, everybody, to the BMC IMS webinar series. As the name states, this is a series that we've been doing for several months now, and that we have a number of recorded sessions. So if you'd like to see some of our recorded sessions, feel free to go to bmc.com, do a search on Watch Mainframe IMS, and you should be able to find those. There should be 5 or 6 of them out there, but then you can pick different subject matters. We will continue to do these as an ongoing basis on the first Monday of every month, so you should see more of these in the near future come up in your email. Today we will be taking questions in the Q&A panel, which you can type into and click on, which is up in the right-hand corner of your screen. We'll answer those questions as we go. If we have some that are really of importance, we will try to catch those later on and let everybody know what they are. So today I want to welcome Dwayne Wente. He's our IMS advisory software consultant, and he will be presenting on the subject matter of BMC shines a light on the IMS catalog using or with Catalog Manager for IMS. So Dwayne, take it away.
Thanks, Nick, and welcome everybody to this IMS technical webinar, the first on the IMS catalog, and we hope to provide information to you on how we're supporting the IMS catalog with our newly announced functionality, Catalog Manager for IMS. So with that, let's get started. So the question that you are probably asking yourselves is, why should you use the IMS catalog? A new repository, and if those of you who have been in IMS a very long time, I think the catalog, you can kind of compare it to a dictionary, except it's really more than just a dictionary. Data feeds for input into the catalog is the catalog populate utility, which is a secondary step to the ACB gen process, and also can be updated via a distributed process with DDL, which is probably the IMS Explorer. When we talk about IMS managed ACBs, what does that really mean? Well, that really means that managed ACBs is replacing functionality for local control block management. It is replacing DVD gen, it is replacing PSB gen, it is replacing ACB gen, and it's replacing online change. So, when you talk about managed ACBs, how is it supported? Well, it's supported via a number of PDSE datasets, and those PDSE datasets contain similar format control blocks like ACB Live contained, and it must be in sync with the catalog. So there's a one-to-one relationship between the IMS directory and the catalog. The second thing, the third thing, I guess, is online change is replaced by IMS type 2 commands that are used to commit the IMS database DMB control block changes and the ACB content changes for IMS to use those appropriately. Now, risks for using the catalog. Well, I think the primary risk here is, and the major impetus behind why IMS people do not want to use the catalog, is the fact that you're changing stable procedures for maintaining your IMS environment. It's introducing change into procedures that have been in place for maybe decades. And this is causing risk and instability. The other thing that occurs here is that when you load the catalog from your ACB Live, it is loading what is contained in ACB Live. It does not have anything to do with any batch processes that don't use ACB Live, that are using DVD Live and PSP Live. So there's a possibility that when you're working with batch that the catalog could be out of sync after you've loaded it. You can also get out of sync conditions when you're trying to do a back out of a purge process. Purge, as you know, what it does is it processes the catalog and removes inventory that's out of date. The last thing is that the implementation of the catalog can require you to register that HAL-DB database in DBRC. There's an option not to do that. Now, BMC recommends that you don't do that, and our catalog manager for IMS requires that the HAL-DB catalog database be registered to DBRC. And I think it's very, very important to support the advantages for data sharing and the advantages for backup and recovery that DBRC provides. So it's very, very important. So, what are we doing here with the catalog manager? Well, we are going to become the IMS catalog experts, and we want to partner with our customers to give them the functionality that they need today and the functionality that they're going to need in the future when you're implementing the catalog, changing your procedures, trying to get the catalog implemented correctly in your environment. So let's talk a little bit about the customer base, the IMS customer base. Really, when we're talking, we've been talking to our customer base for a long while now about the catalog. And really, there's two camps of customers. There's those that say they haven't considered using, it's in the future. That's okay. BMC has IMS catalog and IMS experts that can help you guide and educate you as you're going through this journey to implement the catalog. We've written a catalog white paper that's available on our website, or it will be available shortly. And we've introduced an IMS catalog blog where we hope that customers will communicate with us as to what their issues are and how we can educate our customers. The other set of customers are those that's saying, it's already happening, I'm in the process of implementing the catalog, or I've implemented the catalog already. That's great. I think that BMC is uniquely positioned to help those customers understand and better utilize the catalog, and also to understand how to do quick mean time to repair based upon contents of that metadata that's in the catalog. So let's talk about Catalog Manager for IMS now, and I'm going to talk about what it does from a functional perspective. After I've done that, what I want to do is talk to you about a specific customer use case so that you can see how the specific functions of the Catalog Manager can be used to resolve a specific problem. So, the Catalog Manager really addresses common IMS catalog and directory user needs. And what are those needs? Well, when you're talking about viewing the contents of the catalog, how can you do that today? Today, it's very, very difficult to understand what you have loaded in the catalog and what that information means. You can use another distributed platform solution to get at that information. That could be the IMS Explorer. You could write an application program because, granted, the catalog is a HAL-DB database. You could write an application program and be responsible for understanding the contents of the catalog and all of the segments that have been loaded for that HAL-DB database. Not very palatable. You could write a DLT0 and use the GER call and dump out the contents of the catalog. Again, not very palatable. The information is provided to you back in as unformatted XML. So what better time to provide IMS sysprogs, IMS application people, and also IMS DBAs with a tool that's integrated into a tool that already manages IMS databases. What we're offering with Catalog Manager is a no-charge offering for our active BMC IMS tools customers. So what I'm saying here is if you currently own any BMC DBU utilities, then you will have access to the Catalog Manager for IMS. Now, of course, that means that you would have to install our GUI infrastructure, and you'd have to apply some PTFs that you would request from tech support, BMC tech support. Once that is done, and if you're at the current levels of the BMC IMS code, then the catalog will automatically be installed in the GUI infrastructure for you to use. It's, as I said, it's delivered as an extension of the BMC DBA toolkit. That also means that if you're using our MaxM Database Advisor, that same infrastructure is used. An additional Catalog Manager tab will show up in that GUI, and it provides seamless integration into a familiar interface for customers that are already using that. Activation is via a number of PTS by a technical bulletin. There's no additional product installation required. It does, however, require current BMC IMS database utility solution version installed. And what do I mean by that? That means that you need to be at the December 2017 level of our product code. So let's take a quick view of what the Catalog Manager for IMS GUI looks like. As you can see, once the installation is done, you will see the Catalog Manager tab, and I'll put my cursor over that now, right here. That tab will now show up in our GUI interface. Now the functions that are included here in this GUI include a catalog viewer, IMS commands processor, JCL generation component that allows you to administer the catalog, and a reporting functionality that gives you the reporting capabilities of our Database Integrity Plus product, because remember, the Database Integrity Plus product, when it was designed to do reporting against local libraries, your DVD lib, your PSB lib, your ACB lib. It didn't have any knowledge of the IMS catalog or the directory. So we modified that and put that reporting capability so that you can do really good analysis on contents of the catalog associated with control blocks that are used in IMS. So the viewer, what in the heck do I mean by a viewer? Well, what we've done is we've built into our GUI infrastructure the ability to expand that HALDB database into the navigation tree based on the segments that are included for the metadata that's housed in the catalog. And from that navigation tree, then you can look at the information that's housed in the catalog. So navigation options are via the catalog, HALDB database, or you can do navigation based upon PSBs to view specific PSBs or all PSBs that are defined in the catalog, and under each PSB there is a list of associated PCBs and segments, and you'll see the data that's actually loaded into the catalog for that type of metadata. The same thing is true. Navigation can be done at the DBD perspective so that you can view all the DBDs that are defined in the catalog or specific ones based upon specific filtering characteristics. And the filtering characteristics can be done via masking, can be done via SQL conditions, or you can filter it based upon the number of rows that you want to see in the results window, and I'll show you that. This is the viewer starting a search. As you can see in that left window, the one right here, what has happened is we've expanded the catalog HalDB database, and you can see the metadata components. When I'm pointing at the DBD, that is the DBD metadata. If you go down further to the PSB, it shows the PSB metadata and the segments associated with that metadata. In this case, the right window gives you the ability to do specific searching based upon masking for a specific database, gives you the capability to do a SQL condition, and it also gives you the capability to control the number of rows that are going to be displayed. In this next search results window, I'm showing you a generic DBD search against the catalog, and what I'm showing you in the right window is the results of that search. As you can see, it's based upon DBD, and you can also see at the bottom of that results window, it's telling you how many database objects and pieces of metadata are included in the catalog, this catalog. So over 3,000 databases included here. Now you're probably asking, going to look at this results window, and you're going to see the same database listed multiple times. And you're saying, well, why is that? And that's basically because, as you know, when the catalog was implemented, IBM also enabled versioning on databases. And you can see for this one database, the second one in on this list, it's listed multiple times, and that's based upon versioning. Reporting is another option off the icon for the catalog manager, and it allows you to verify information in the catalog as to whether it's current and correct. It is our Database Integrity Plus reporting that's been modified to take advantage of reporting against the directory or the directory staging libraries and the catalog, and it provides you the capability to do reporting for database auditing, cross-referencing, object detail reporting, and database synchronization reporting. This is what it looks like. What you would do here is you would select the type of reporting that you want to do. In this case, I'm doing a database synchronization report, and I'm going against the directory, and I'm going to contrast that with all the control blocks. It generates the JCL inside the console. At this point, you have the option to run this this reporting job, or you have the option to save it off to a PDS data set on the mainframe and execute it at your leisure. This is the results of a synchronization report, so I'm just showing you that. The other functionality is for administration of the catalog. So what we've added is the ability to do JCL generation for DBD gen, for PSB gen, control blocks, generation for ACB gen, and catalog populate, so that you can keep your ACB live and your catalog in sync. And we've provided the capability to analyze the inventory that you want to purge. If you have inventory that's in the catalog that needs to be purged, you would use the catalog purge utility to do that. There's an analysis phase that can be executed first to tell you what will be deleted before you actually run the catalog purge. Again, it works the same way as generating JCL for reporting. In this case, I'm going to show you the ACB gen and catalog populate utility, JCL generation. And it works the same way as for reporting as far as generating that JCL. The command interface allows you to issue IMS type 1 and type 2 commands and see the responses interactively. We included this in the Catalog Manager GUI because there are functions that you need to do to administer the catalog with type 2 commands, and we also wanted you to be able to execute any IMS command from inside the GUI so that you didn't have to go off platform to do that. And here I'm showing you the execution of a type 1 command against the IMS catalog OLS data set. I'm doing a display OLS from a Plex. There's 3 participating IMS LPARs in this Plex. And you can see the results of that display. I'm having a little bit of technical difficulty here. Apologize for that. Trying to get to the, okay. So what I want to do in this next part of the session is I want to go over a use case, customer use case. So in this particular situation, the customer is going to be doing transition to the IMS catalog. And typically when customers transition to the IMS catalog, they are going to set the DFS-DF XX PROCLIBE member to initiate the catalog usage, and they want to use ACB management of the ACB lib. That just means that program changes and schema changes from the DBD perspective are going to be managed in the ACB lib and concurrently updated in the IMS catalog, so that users who are doing distributed Java development can also get their information from the catalog, and it is in sync with the ACB lib. So what happens in this situation if someone in the development organization, and this will happen, pulls an old ACB lib, an old ACB gen process that doesn't include the catalog populate utility as the second step. What happens is IMS is just fine and good. It updates the ACB lib, but the catalog did not get updated. So what happens is, from a distributed platform perspective, the user will get an out-of-sync condition. Won't ever happen, right? I think it will, and I know it will. So let's use the Catalog Manager to try and determine if that situation exists or not. What we're going to do is we're going to use the Catalog Viewer first. I'm going to expand the HALDB in the navigation tree so I can navigate to the DBD control block, because what do I really want to do? I want to make sure that the control block's metadata that's housed in the catalog is in sync with what IMS is actually using. There's 2 individual components to this out-of-sync condition. Okay, I'm going to look at the catalog first. The first thing I'm going to do is look at the DBD defined in the catalog. In this case, I'm going to use the catalog DBD for my example. And my search criteria is I want to look at all segments for the metadata. I want to do a SQL condition where I'm looking for only the catalog database, only. And I'm going to limit the number of rows that could be displayed to 10. Go ahead and hit the search. And the results window is going to show me the catalog database metadata. And you're saying, well, that's an interesting representation of that data. Yes, it looks like it's easier to read, but I don't really understand what the column headings mean. Well, inside the catalog manager, what you do is you put your cursor over the heading for that column, and we tell you what that data represents and what the characteristics of that column's data is. In this case, we're looking at the TSVERS column because that is the ACB gen timestamp for this control block. As you can see, it's April 7th, 2017 at 13:58:30:58. Remember that number or that timestamp. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to look for the catalog PSB, and I'm going to display that metadata as well because I want to see if the ACB gen timestamp for the PSB is equivalent to the DBD ACB timestamp. And as you can see, it is. So I've used the catalog viewer to quickly identify what the ACB timestamp is and to verify that those timestamps are equivalent. Catalog looks good. Why would a distributed platform get an out of sync condition? Okay, so let's take, what is the other half of this equation? We're going to determine what the other half of this equation is by using the IMS commands processor. So not leaving the console, I'm going to do it right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a diagnose snap for the DBD, catalog DBD, and I'm going to dump the DDIR. And I know, based upon looking at that control block, that the offset for that timestamp is at offset 98. And it's in Julian date format with the timestamp. And I can see, based on what I have highlighted here, that that timestamp is equivalent to what was defined for that control block in the catalog metadata. 3/4 of the equation has been solved. Let's look at the final piece. I'm going to use the same command. I'm going to do a diagnose snap against the program, and I'm going to use the catalog read PSB, and I'm going to dump the PDIR control block. And I know from that control block that the offset for the timestamp is at offset 58. Now, I've quickly determined now that both the catalog and both the ACB lib components that IMS is using are equivalent. All right? Now, if for instance, the catalog timestamps were less than those used by ACB lib for this dump, then I know that an ACB gen was done without a catalog populate utility execution. In this case, they are equivalent. We should be fine. If they were not the same, the next thing that I would do is I would go to the generate JCL, and I would do the ACB gen catalog populate execution for the catalog DBD, and I would refresh all referenced PSBs. Generate that JCL, either submit it from inside the console or save it off to a staging library or a mainframe data set to execute it later. So what have we done? We've taken a real customer use case. We've used 3 of the components, pieces of functionality that we've delivered with the catalog manager for IMS. We've showed the integrated functionality of the GUI interface. I've showed you how easy it is to view the catalog HALDB, the metadata that's housed in that catalog metadata. I've also showed you IMS command processing, the integration of that, and how it could be used in the solving of a critical problem. and we've shown how to use the Catalog Manager for IMS for issue remediation. Are there any questions about the use case? And I guess when we get finished here, if you have questions about the use case or usages of the functionality of the Catalog Manager, please don't hesitate to put your questions in the Q&A. In summarization, the Catalog Manager for IMS is a no charge for existing BMC IMS tools customers. It really has all of the capability that current IMS customers need, because most IMS customers are in the investigation of the IMS catalog and managed ACBs. We believe that everything that we have included here for on a no-charge basis will give you what you need to manage and understand the catalog, educate yourself about the metadata that's included in the catalog, and be able to do problem remediation using this functionality. It's integrated, another important key is it's integrated into the DBA Toolkit infrastructure and the Maxim Database Advisor infrastructure, because remember, the catalog is a HALDB database, PHIDAM, OSAM database, and it needs to be managed just like any other database. You need to do proactive management for performance considerations and space reclaim, and you also need to understand proactively when you have an issue that will result in an out-of-space condition. It really does also leverage proven database integrity reporting that's integrated so that you understand the relationships of the metadata that's housed in your catalog and that you can understand what those control blocks do. At this particular time, I'd like to turn this discussion over to the Q&A portion. If you would like, I'd like to turn it back over to the moderator so that we can take questions at this time.
Okay, Dwayne, thank you for your presentation today. If you have any questions, we're answering those in the Q&A area. We're not doing a live question feed today, but if you want to ask questions, put them in the Q&A and we'll respond quickly to those. One of the ones that I did get was asking about the replay, and the correct URL for that is watch.bmc.com. So you can look for it in a few days. It will be out there. You should get a notification, but if you don't, look in a few days, you should be able to see that. All right, well, I'm going to turn this back over to Cynthia, the operator, and we'll let her close out the session, but we will keep it open for the next 10 minutes and answer questions, 10 to 15 minutes and answer questions on the question and answer panel. So if you still have questions, let us know what those are, and we'll be glad to help you with those. Cynthia?
Ladies and gentlemen, this does conclude today's webinar. Thank you all for your participation.